Family and friends gathered to say goodbye to a Floyd County man found dead last week in a shallow grave. Police identify human remains found in Whitley County several years ago. And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell was back in the bluegrass yesterday to talk about the Farm Bill.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Will Puckett. Your time is 5:29 on Tuesday, April the 9th. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning. If you're getting ready to head out the door, you need to know that it's foggy. No rain has been falling, but it looks like it has, and it's just how much moisture is in the air this morning. Brandon will give you a better breakdown of what to expect on this Tuesday. Brandon, it's all yours.
Good morning, and it's going to be definitely a very dense foggy start to the day. No fog advisory at this point. We're keeping a close eye on that, but as we take a look at the Buffalo Mountain camera here in Perry County this morning, it's in the higher elevations and the lower elevations, and you can see it there, and you can see it really on this visibility map where it is less than a mile at a lot of locations. Live pinpoint Doppler radar, not much to scan this morning, so that's some good news. Temperatures in the 50s area wide, from 51 to about 56 there in Harlan now. Iced coffee or normal coffee, not too bad for the coffee meter today on temperature at least. 66 the average for this time of the year. 74 is our forecast high. The full forecast on the way here in just a few minutes. Will?
All right, Brandon, thank you. Monday was a tough day for one Eastern Kentucky family as they said goodbye to a man loved by so many. Police found 26-year-old Jordan Tackett buried last week in a shallow grave. Family members spent nearly 2 months searching for him. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher talked with some of those who knew him best at his funeral.
Family and friends only have the good times to hang on to now.
He was my best friend, and he always would be.
Those will serve as their lasting memories of Jordan Tackett.
No matter if he's gone or not, I mean, he'd still be my best friend.
James Noonmaker says he held a strong bond with Jordan.
Me and him, when we were together, we sat there and talked for hours.
Before family reported him missing, James asked Jordan an important question.
2 weeks before he went missing, I asked him to be in my wedding, to be my best man, and he said yes, and I canceled my wedding and everything after he went missing.
Family members last saw him in February, hanging on to hope someone would find him alive.
He was full of life. Every time he seen me, he just wrapped his arms around me.
Last week, police found Jordan buried in a shallow grave in the Wayland community. George Hunter is Jordan's uncle.
And I wish he wouldn't have had to die like that.
He says Jordan did not have an aggressive character.
That's why I don't understand. He wasn't violent. He wasn't that kind of person.
Late last week, police charged Wesley Martin with murder. George and James sent one message to him.
He don't even deserve jail time. He deserves to be dead.
I think the man should get the death penalty.
As family and friends pray for justice. In Floyd County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
Services were held at Hall Funeral Home Chapel, and Jordan Tackett was taken to the Gethsemane Gardens in Prestonsburg. Officials in Whitley County have identified human bones found in 2015. Whitley County Coroner Andy Crawley says the bones were found by two men on Happy Hollow Road nearly 4 years ago. Crawley says the bones have now been identified as Richard Wood from Georgia, who families say went missing in 2014.
I'm sure it's a hard morning every morning to wake up and still not knowing, but we were able to give them that closure.
Crawley says the identification was made possible by DNA from family members. A cemetery in Letcher County was vandalized this past weekend, and more than 40 gravestones were damaged. WYMT's Lauren McCourt talked with people who have family buried at the cemetery, who say they are heartbroken someone would do this.
Thorntons Hill Cemetery is a final resting place to hundreds.
This cemetery has been here for, years and years.
But the quiet here was broken late Friday night.
They were pushed over. They were probably about 40 stones. They were turned over.
Graves damaged.
It was terrible.
This hits close to home for Chris Sexton. His family and friends are buried here.
It was heartbreaking. This is people's final resting place.
That's when he and a couple others decided to spend all day cleaning up the mess.
We sent so many back up. Some of them was broke. Some of them was just turned over.
One of the volunteers being his 10-year-old son.
He didn't argue about it one bit. He volunteered on his own to come up here to help.
Many of the families have came by to check up on their loved ones' graves.
Now, thank God that ours wasn't damaged, and I feel sorry for the people that were.
And believe whoever did this terrible act,
And they should make them come up here and cut the cemetery 2 or 3 times.
should have to pay the price. In Letcher County, Lauren McCourt, WYMT Mountain News.
Sexton says they are taking up donations to help fix the grave site. And if you have any information about the vandalism, you're asked to contact the Letcher County Sheriff's Office. In other news this morning, a department store Kohl's is coming to London. The department chain will set up shop in the old Kmart building. Kohl's will be one of 4 new businesses located in that former Kmart building at the London Marketplace on Kentucky 192. The store should be open by the fall of 2019. American Medical Response, also known as AMR, recently announced TranStar Ambulance Services has been rebranded as Lifeguard Ambulance Service. AMR has begun providing services in the areas formerly serviced by TranStar. Director of Operations Bert Absher says you will still get the same treatment as before. There will just be a different name on the ambulance.
What TranStar had done for Eastern Kentucky was nothing short of excellent, but now we have an opportunity to improve on that already excellent care.
All vehicles will be rebranded in the next 60 days. Employees will now have a global network of benefits. Of course, you will still dial 911 in case of an emergency. Coal miners and healthcare workers in Eastern Kentucky may be able to find jobs today and tomorrow. The job fairs run from 7 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon and then 2 p.m. until 7 p.m. Wednesday at the Letcher County Recreation Center in Whitesburg. To apply, make sure you take a valid driver's license or identification, social security card, and resume. We have information on what they are looking for over on our website at WYMT.com. Well, our chief national political analyst, Greta Van Susteren, will launch a new weekly show called Full Court Press. Gray Television, the owner of WYMT, announced the new program Monday. The new weekend political show will focus on how policy actions, political decisions, and national events impact local communities across the country. Van Susteren's show will feature interviews with newsmakers, run-to-bleed discussions, and investigative reports. Van Susteren is a veteran of CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News Channel, and is now bringing her no-nonsense approach to local television.
I see the show being is putting politicians in the hot seat essentially, and I'm just gonna ask blunt questions, get information for the viewers. Viewers are smart. I don't care what their life experiences are, they are smart. My job is to get them facts, to challenge guests, and to provoke a robust debate which also challenges all of us to think.
Full Court Press begins this September right here on WYMT. Well, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell was in Louisville yesterday explaining the rollout of hemp provisions in the Farm Bill. He was joined by a group of government leaders, including Kentucky's Commissioner of Agriculture. Last year, the bill removed hemp from a list of federally controlled substances. The industry is booming in Kentucky as a result. Processors paid farmers nearly $18 million for harvested hemp. Well, Democratic gubernatorial candidate Adam Edlin wants to see possession of small amounts of marijuana decriminalized. He is one of 4 Democrats running for governor this year. The others are House Minority Leader, Floor Leader Rocky Atkins, Attorney General Andy Beshear, and Jeff Young. Republican Governor Matt Bevin is seeking another term. His GOP challengers are State Representative Robert Goforth, William Woods, and Ike Lawrence. Kentucky's primary election is the 21st of May. The State Horse Racing Commission says it could be a couple of weeks before we know what went wrong this weekend, causing the death of a horse at Keeneland. The 4-year-old filly, Cathedral Reader, broke her leg during a race Saturday. After the race, she was euthanized. This comes as scrutiny on the sport intensifies as the number of horse deaths across the country grows.
Nobody benefits when a horse gets hurt. Nobody benefits. And I think the horsemen are acutely aware of the increased scrutiny for the sport across the country, that what happened in California has impacted horsemen, horses, racetracks everywhere, and we can't afford to be glib or say it's somebody else's problem.
Dr. Scalay says last year 36 horses died on tracks across the state. That is nearly double from the year before, when there were just 20. Well, more debate on breast cancer screening for women. Now the American College of Physicians is out with new guidance that says average risk women over 50 should get mammograms every other year. CBS's Chris Martinez has more.
49-year-old Norma Vaccarano is diligent about getting a mammogram every year. For her, it's personal.
So one of my aunts was diagnosed with breast cancer about 7 years ago. She passed away last year, so, you know, this is a subject close to my heart.
At what age and how often women should get screened for breast cancer has been a topic of debate in recent years. Now, the American College of Physicians says the majority of average-risk women, ages 50 to 74, would benefit from mammograms every other year, and that there would be no significant difference in breast cancer deaths.
The benefit is less than we had hoped.
Dr. Joanne Elmore says annual mammograms can sometimes do more harm than good, from false positive results to unnecessary biopsies and surgeries.
It leads to a lot of anxiety. That can be a really scary situation for women.
In the past decade, doctors have moved away from screening younger women and toward informed decision-making starting at 40. Dr. Elmore says women need to weigh the benefits, harms, and their preference for screening with their doctors.
In the end, this should be the woman's decision. And we should be trying to help women understand all the data and let women make the decision.
Because of her family history, Norma says she'll continue to screen annually.
My doctor was very aware, and she was the one that initiated, you need to do this.
Norma believes it could one day help save her life. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The American College of Radiology disagrees with the new guidance, saying it could result in thousands of unnecessary breast cancer deaths. But the American Cancer Society says it is not uncommon for recommendations to differ. Its guidelines have also changed in recent years, pushing the start of screening later. Coming up, how one man is trying to sell the hottest tickets in town for the new Avengers movie and why he says it's just in good fun.
Temps will head back up today as the skies clear out and a nice little warming trend is on the way. On the latest forecast, about 3 minutes.